Hey guys.
Howdy to ya!
So Shelly got a haircut. So that was her spring, getting ready for the warm weather.
Which turned out to be really nicely in time because it has gotten really hot and humid already on a couple of days. It's beautiful today, but in some of those hot, humid days, the last thing you need is 3 pounds of hair covering you. And we ended up cutting off braids that were
12-inch braids.
12-inch braids. So if you add on, another 3 inches for that loss, about 15 inches of hair that cut off and donated. Sent it off a few weeks ago, so it's already been accepted and going in a wig making for some kids. Yeah.
Which organization did you use when you donated?
I did children with hair loss on this last time. A few of them you have to worry about whether or not they're really making a profit. Even though they say they're not for profit, those executives are making a lot of money. So I looked into it, and this one seemed like they had a really good business plan and they were contributing more than what they were taking.
Nice. Okay.
So
So if you're looking to do something like that, that might be a good one to look into as well.
they take gray hair, they take short hair, they take hair, period, at all, dyed. Really, they're a little more open to just taking hair and making kids wigs. So that's really cool. So yeah, I did that, and then Connor's, amongst his many talents, ta-da, started on my arm. Turn it more. So some really cool flowers and stuff. And he also did on his own arm.
Yeah, just added another one for me. Anyways, yeah, so eventually we're going to color it in. I've just been waiting for hers to heal up, and she's going to add more in there. She wants it to be more of a botanical reference chart.
Especially with some of the flowers around here that I don't recognize, like dandelions. Pretty easy to recognize and be like, okay, because dandelions are a great food source for salads. Their roots could be made into teas and tinctures that is really good for your kidney, liver cleansing. The flowers can be also edible. It's just a very edible plant. So that one I know, but some of these others are a little harder to recognize.
The tea itself is also a really good antiviral and anti-inflammatory. So a lot of benefits with dandelions. A lot of people view them as weeds, but we actually are trying to start a little patch just so we can have dandelions that we can make the teas. You can make the salads out of the leaves, all that jazz.
Yeah, you can even make dandelion wine out of it.
I've had it. It's good. Um.
Uh,
All right. Let's see.
we got a list.
We got a list because otherwise we leave stuff out. I thought I would have all the ceiling boards up by now. Unfortunately, something I knew when I bought the ceiling boards but have since forgotten is that there were two different sizes of ceiling boards. So I painted up a whole bunch of them going, yeah, that's going to do it. And yeah, so I painted a bunch of short ones instead of the long ones that I need. But I did get a lot more up, so I'll go ahead and show you. So especially over here, so that's going out to the second run now. All that's pretty much covered there, and the second run here. And then I got some over there above the bed, and then a patch over here. So still got a ways to go, but making progress. And like I said, it's all about I'm gonna have to find some more of the boards that are the right size before I do that.
They gotta at least be 2 feet because that's how far.
Well, the 48 inches is the one I started with, and so if I change size, then I have a problem with them not hitting at the same spot, and it just makes it more complicated. Shelly this past week has been working. When we first built the platform, when we just had the post, we had no walls up and everything.
We had no ceiling up.
No ceiling. We had put the plywood on. We covered it as best we could with dry lock to get it through that first winter. You may recall that. If not, you can go back and watch the videos. That dry lock really helped it get through that time because it was really rainy.
We had a lot of snows, a lot of freezing, and it was exposed to the elements that entire time.
Yeah, this was OSB plywood, 7/16 that we doubled up. So for it to be in that much weather and everything, it really held up a lot better than we thought it was going to do. And I mean, really well. So, but it was looking kind of nappy in here. Our floor looked dirty all the time. Even if it wasn't, it was starting to flake apart. You'd catch it on your shoe or
Socks.
sock
We
or
always were getting stuff stuck in our socks, because of flaky plywood, and so pieces come up. And,
So Shelly spent this past week going through and just repainting the floor and covering it. So she got a tub of paint that was mistinted, one of those 5-gallon buckets for $30, and went ahead and painted all over the whole place, and now it looks so much better. And we can walk around and it's nice. And we ended up getting a computer over there because I have some classes I want to start taking. Also, I've been working on some writing projects, so that just makes it a lot more easier for us to do those kind of things.
And it's nice because we have internet, so now we have internet on a computer even.
Surf the interwebs.
We're getting fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of fancies, this lovely window here, is it that clean? Yes, it's that clean. Also, finally have a screen. Finally have a screen there because now that the weather is getting better, it's nice to have a cross breeze coming through the house. And since this window was secondhand, bought from our random places that we got them, it didn't have a screen. Luckily, we got a screen kit, and it was simpler than I imagined. I messed up the first time, but it was easy to reuse the parts I did get right, and now it's nice, and hopefully not as many flies in here now when we want to open up our windows, including on this fancy one that I got for the door that Connor put up.
Pretty fancy. So Shelly did that one, and then for the few flies that make it through, I have this awesome bug zapper racket now. It is really cool. It makes really sparks when it hits the flies. It's highly entertaining for me. New toy. All right, so we finally trimmed out the door, which I had been trying to get to for a while now. So everything is painted on the inside. Everything's covered. But this is the cool screen door that Shelly found.
You see it? Barely. Screen.
It's on a roller over here on this side, and so when you undo this latch, it just retracts.
Out of the way, not going in, not going out, not in the way at all. It's retractable.
It's pretty nifty. And then Shelly went back, and the boards I had to add to make it happen, she went ahead and stained them the blue that we had for all of the trim. It really ties in better, I think, with like the window over here, how it's got the blue trim and the white right there on the green. So I think it kind of ties it in a little bit better, honestly.
Yeah, the white, blue, green wood.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we just left our list inside.
That's
but,
all right. The worms.
Worms. We'll work our way over this way.
All right, so as I mentioned, I do want to start growing tilapias and everything for barter. Well, to do that, I got to feed tilapia. So I went ahead. Hey, one of them worms escaped. See him down there in the bottom.
There's a few of them.
Yeah. All right, so I set up these worm bins, and I ordered 200 of these.
Earthy worms.
There you go. Yeah.
Wigglers.
European night crawlers. I don't want you to drown, little buddy. Get back in there. And so this right here is just a row of worm food. You're supposed to feed them every 3 to 4 days, and then from there just let them grow. Keep them damp. So they're doing pretty good so far. And then they're going to change all this clay that I put in there into nice rich black gold. So I've got 2 bins and I've just halved them between the 2.
Yay! Now from there we could start looking at these garden updates. Yes, I have been working more in the garden, like I said. I actually did focus a little more.
Oh, stop right here because this is all growed out.
This has completely bloomed out really good. This is the oregano right here that is branching out, and I need to probably come back and trim some of it. We got our mint, the lavender's doing all right back here. The thyme, I think these are onion chives. Rosemary's doing good. I did move the strawberries from here into one of the other beds to give them a little more space. And so this is doing good. Needed a little cleanup, but it's doing well. Now in the actual garden, I think I had 5 beds that I finished getting done up. So we have the radishes, you can see, have already come up. The summer squash on this side has not come up yet, but you can see some of the cucumbers have started up. And they'll be able to grow along this fence, hang on this side, the summer squash can on that side, and the radishes will help hopefully keep some of those cucumber beetles away. Hopefully. And this, sorry. There's this box here and another one over there, and the nasturtiums have already started to come up. This was a volunteer of some kind, and I decided to leave it for right now because it looks like it might be a strawberry that survived, and I'm not sure. So we're gonna find out what that volunteer is. Some beautiful wildflowers. Over here we got beets, and you kind of see my little labels. Green beans will be along here, and here's one of them about to come up. Some other volunteer stuff trying to come up, but the green bean is what we want to climb along here. And as we walk over onto this one, you can see where I put these strawberries, which are happily sitting in here, along with a bunch of spinaches and weeds, but mostly spinaches. On this one, I moved some of the green onion that was over in the big bed, or the little winterized bed over here. And we have got our marigolds starting to come up. Once they get a little bit bigger, we're gonna do watermelon in here. They're gonna protect the watermelon. We've had a really hard time trying to get the watermelon to survive the bugs. So the marigold is a really good companion planter, as is the green onion, to help protect the watermelon from insects and other things that try to eat it. Then in our main centerpiece, basil peppers, cilantro, tomatoes, carrots. And you can see some stuff's come up, some stuff's still holding off. It's a matter of time and just waiting.
And I see that the, what is that over here on the fence?
The honeysuckle?
The honeysuckle is doing pretty good.
Well, you might be contributing some of that to this tree, which
No,
we've cut down.
I mean, look, it's really sprouted up.
Oh yeah, it is doing quite well. Yeah, I've had a few people tell me, oh, that honeysuckle, be careful, it's gonna take over. I'm like, well, I put it in a spot, that's the point. It can be considered, I guess, invasive, and some locals don't like it. But when you give it a purpose that it's already going to do anyway, then it makes sense. The lilikoi has not come up yet, but over on the other side of the fence, I did try to put in some asparagus, so we're gonna see how those go. It might be sprouting up yet, but I don't know. So I'm just trying to leave it alone, let it do its thing, and eventually I'll find out if it took or not. I did want to start the asparagus because it can take 3 to 5 years before you can actually eat off of it. So getting those little babies started was well worth it. I cleaned up in here quite a bit. We have a couple piles of leaves so that we could get good compost going, so that we could feed those worms, as well as helping feed these garden beds throughout the year or year after year. I do have like a sacrificial garden as well as some tires. I did plant some seeds that I got given to me from my coworkers because they're super awesome. And then I had some flowers that I put in the sacrificial garden. I call it the sacrificial garden because it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is extra stuff and the animals can get to it, so hopefully they'll eat that stuff and leave anything inside the fence alone. If they don't, meh, that's up to them.
So that's the gardening theory on the sacrificial garden. Think of anything else? Oh, we moved the, I got rid of the parts truck. Yeah, got rid of that. So, yay, it's out of the way, which means I can probably get over here and cut this big old tree down. It's, you can see it right here. It makes that corner and goes up. So that's one of those trees I want to get out of here, just because I think it's going to be better to cut down before there's anything in the way, because it's such a big tree.
It's super beautiful, and it's one of the few trees also creating shade over here.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see spring is finally here. Spring is it's green. Like I would say in the past 2 weeks, the tree pollen went kapoof, and sneezing, coughing, choking, but it's all green now behind us, and the grass is even really taking care of reseeding itself. That's why I let it grow in the spring a little too much, as other people's opinion goes. But that means it's seeding itself, and we don't have to buy seed, and when I do go to mow it, it'll be thicker.
Yep. So we're going to continue to try to work on those ceiling boards and a couple other projects, and just keep plugging away. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for checking in on us. Please feel free to make comments, share the video if you like. If y'all have any questions specific for us, feel free to put them in the comments. We'll address them as we can. We have been talking to one of our friends that said he'd really be interested in seeing us going live on YouTube, now that we have internet and can handle that kind of mobile streaming. So if that's something that you would also like, let us know, and we'll be more than happy to explore that option. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great month.